Like this.
We on there.
Mid conversation like this.
I'm just gonna hit the button. Everybody need to hear
I'm
this.
Gonna do this.
Foolishness going on right now. Oh my God. He's gonna slowly expose her head up above the TV. Oh my gosh.
All right, unseen.
Cue the music. Man. Oh my gosh. I got my eyes watering over here. All right. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
And yet again, we are back for episode 16, Sweet 16. We happy to be back, y'all. It's the Post Podium Podcast, so we are all truth, no sodium. Yet again, I am your co-host, Aramis.
And this is Key.
And we are back with another episode. We're going to get to some preseason stuff. But before we do that, we got to get to our segment. Let me deal with this music real quick and we'll get to it. All right. Here's the mouse, brother.
Thank you, sir.
So, back again in the house. And we're going to start with a segment that we like to call
Stuff We Heard.
Now, this might be an extended version of Stuff We Heard, but it is what it is. So we're going to get it cracking, Key. What we got?
Oh, it's going to be extended because I got a lot of stuff that I've heard. And some good stuff, some interesting stuff, some things that we just don't know what's going on in the world these days. So I hope you're ready to indulge me because this is going to be the day. And guys, if you do,
it sounds like you came with a little bit of salt today, bro.
No salt.
Okay,
that's just interesting. Right. A lot of interesting stuff. But if you do follow us, if you have watched the show, each one teach one. Let them know we're here. Let them know what we do. Let them know we have a ball in this place here.
Phrase.
If you want to have some kind of fun, some laughter, some interesting moments, please. Sharing the laughter, sharing the joy, because we're here for it. First and foremost, Marlon Humphrey is out indefinitely. He had foot surgery. So, wow. That Baltimore defense is going to be missing a good one over there. I'm not sure who their backups are, but I guess they're going to.
He got paid.
Yeah, they're going to do some serious soul searching in the preseason this year. You'll like this one. Lamar Jackson's playbook. He evidently went on social media and I guess saw some plays and some routes and said to his coach T. Martin, he said, can you please take a look at these plays I found on Instagram, on Facebook, wherever he was. I don't know if it was even Madden. He sent the plays to T. Martin. He's like, yo, please relay these to Coach Monken. Jackson said after Tuesday's joint practice with the Washington Commanders, Coach Monken liked the plays, so he put it in practice. He didn't show it today, but he feels like it'll be good for him. John Harbaugh also said that Lamar Jackson is a guy who thinks a lot about football and intricacies. So I wonder what we're going to see this year in terms of where he got for Madden 24.
Well, it sounds like they're starting to take him seriously as a quarterback, and they're starting to actually treat him like one. I mean, for him to come to them, with these plays and, recommend it as something that he would like to do and have them just do it. Like, I don't think he's really seen that much respect during his rookie years, right. With the way they've run the offense, and they've just kind of used him as a, quasi running back at the quarterback position and not really given him too much of an opportunity to, do what he did in college. He wasn't even really a running, quarterback in college. Right. He could, but he didn't have to because he was so great at passing the ball. So I like this.
Yeah, he just got off. I mean, it wasn't like one of those deals where they design runs all the time, but they were very limited outside of Devontae Parker with Lamar Jackson. I think they had Laquan Treadwell before him. But like I just named, two guys on two different years of play with Lamar Jackson, and you didn't have a full offense around them. I think they did have a running back of some sort, but Lamar Jackson was the show when it came to Louisville's offensive output. Next, could there be some movement with Gabe Davis? Evidently, Green Bay is interested in Gabriel Davis. So,
for what?
You know what?
Jordan Love is the dude there?
I don't know, but this is it. Hey, at this point in time, if you're talking about throwing me, let's see who we have. Isaiah McDuffie, Tariq Carpenter, Jimmy Phillips Jr., somebody like that.
Now this don't make sense. You got Christian Watson and Romeo Dobbs. I don't know how you really pronounce that. No, I don't think anybody knows that. It's Dobbs?
I think so, yeah.
those are two good receivers.
They're good receivers. I mean, for me, I'm more thinking about our middle linebacker. You notice everybody I named was a middle linebacker in Green Bay. Send me a middle linebacker or two so we can actually have a real linebacker room in Buffalo, and we can talk. If you're talking about anybody else but the middle linebacker, I don't want to talk. I'm closing the door on that one.
Yeah, but I don't know if I want Devondre Campbell at this point in his career. Quay Walker, I don't really know too much about. I think
you know Quay Walker. You know Quay Walker.
I know Quay Walker.
Yeah, that's the guy that kicked out of the game last year for excessive personal fouls. Remember the Green Bay game last year?
Oh, that's
Quay Walker.
No, he doesn't fit the culture here.
Nah, but I'm glad you said that because that's going to be later. That's a teaser. You don't even know you just teased it.
Oh wow. Okay, go me. Whatever.
I know Isaiah McDuffie's a local talent. So Isaiah McDuffie's a local talent. So reuniting with Buffalo, who knows? But obviously this is speculation on our part. There's no well, not even your part. I'll take full credit for this or full blame for this, however you want to look at it. But I can tell you that there was an article written by who was it written by? It wasn't me just talking. 1 second, if I can find my mouse. Here we go. And the Wisconsin Sports Heroics. So, yeah, this is actually a Wisconsin article, Green Bay article by McQuaid Arnold, written on August 14th.
So this dude is suggesting we trade Gabe Davis for who?
He didn't go that far, but the title says, and I quote, Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love gets weapon and trade idea with Buffalo Bills. Reading further, we're not going to go through the whole article, but reading further, Gabe Davis is the name that they did peg. So
knee-jerk reaction. Here's the question.
Mm-hmm.
Trent Sherfield, is he the what's it called? Is he the backup plan in case somebody comes with a really good offer for Gabe Davis?
I think so. I think we talked about that before where Trent Sherfield was actually, he actually could be a succession plan depending on how he looks this year, because I think you discovered that he was actually backing up the outside, not the slot we originally had thought.
Right.
So who knows? I mean, there might be some traction. Gabe Davis in a contract year. They're going to ask him. They're going to see what he wants, what his thoughts are for his worth, and then they'll go from there. They have a number on everybody, so we'll see what that. Well, we won't see what that number is, but the Gabe Davis's agent and Brandon Beane will see what that number is and react accordingly. And while you were asking that question, the proposed trade is Gabe Davis for a 3rd and 6th rounder in 24
draft picks.
That's not nothing. That's not nothing
for a 3rd and a 6th
for a former 4th. Yeah, that's not too bad. You should be able to get started with the 3rd.
Hold on a second. Hold on. We're talking about a 4th round pick that has how many starts in his career, that has had a 200-yard game and 4 touchdowns in the playoffs.
Right, but
you got to give me a second for that.
You're not getting a second for Gabe Davis.
You don't think there's somebody out there willing to give a 2nd round pick for Gabe Davis
in 24? Nah.
Let's say okay. Let me ask you this. Gabe Davis goes out in 2023, and by the trade deadline, which is what, October? Mm-hmm. So by the trade deadline, he's got, let's say, between 750 to 850 yards receiving already.
If he's giving you that kind of production, 800 yards by a trade deadline?
That's over half the season, though. Trade
Not
deadline,
much, though.
It got pushed back.
Isn't that week, 12? 11, 12?
Hold on. When is the trade deadline now? They moved it back because they added a week.
If you guys didn't see my face on that, which you probably didn't, if you have 800 yards by...
if you didn't see my face.
If you have 800 yards by the trade deadline, you're talking about Stephon Diggs production. And at that point, you better have signed that man. If you're doing that, you better have signed that man.
No, and not necessarily, because most of he's got the, I think he's got the highest yards per catch rate on the team.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, if he's getting more deep ball opportunities because those safeties have to come up and play the tight ends,
that is going to open up a lot of stuff for him on the outside.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna. I think they're looking at trying to get him closer to a functional wide receiver and more involved in the short stuff too. And that's what's coming out of camp.
It doesn't make sense. Like Gabe Davis's skill set is more suited for, I would say, between 10 to 20 yards away from the line of scrimmage. Like his size, his skill set, that's where he fits best.
Well, yeah, when I say closer, I'm talking about closer in terms of not the deep ball, not those long balls anymore. You're talking about, intermediate. So
like give me a yard range. Like you talking 5 to 10, 10 to 15?
Maybe 10 to 15.
10 to 15, so slightly shorter than usual. Because he's still between 10 to 20.
Let's see. Let's take a look and see exactly where we are with this here. Because
what does Isaiah Hodgins have to do with this conversation?
What's that?
I said, what does Isaiah Hodgins have to do with this conversation?
No, that's from last year.
Oh, okay.
If you're talking about, you look at, he had between 10 to 20 yards last year. He had, 25 receptions.
Yeah.
Deep balls, he had 7. And between 0 and 10 yards, you're looking at 13 receptions. So everything he did was between 10 and 20.
Right.
So if you're telling me that this guy has 800 yards by the 12-week point, that's got to be a sign. That you don't let that walk out of the building unless his number is 20 million.
Okay. So here's why I say it's good but not great. A guy like Christian Watson could easily have those numbers and not be on the same level as Gabe Davis. Like, I'm looking at it from the perspective of if he's just got the yards. Now, in Gabe Davis's in this scenario with Gabe Davis, I'm assuming those are all plays between the 10 to 20 mark, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a lot of, scheme in my mind that contributes to his ability to get open.
Okay.
Now, if you're talking about a guy like Sherfield, who is a bit, shiftier, he probably runs more routes than Davis at this point, because he's also able to play slot. I think Sherfield's ability to get more yards from a clear-cut productivity perspective without having the offense help him, mm-hmm. right? I think that matters more than I think that 800 yards matters more than an 800-yard mark for Gabe Davis. Like, if I'm just throwing the ball deep to Gabe Davis all day long and I complete 60% of those, I could easily have 800 yards by
60%, but you're talking about deep ball, right?
Well, between the 10 to 20 yard mark where he lives.
Well, I wouldn't count that as deep. When you say deep, I'm thinking of over 20, those long balls, those like that. What was it? The one against the Steelers where he broke it for 98 yards, whatever it was. So those are deep to me.
I'm looking at it like 0 to 5
mm-hmm.
is short range.
Mm-hmm.
10 to 20.
Yeah, that's the functional range I'm looking for.
I'm sorry. So from 5 to 15
mm-hmm.
is intermediate, right? So I guess it would have to be 15 to 25 then, if I'm saying that right. But the way they had it marked up, it was like 0 to 10 and then 10 to 20 and then 20 plus.
Right.
So I guess in that sense, 0 to 10 would be short range.
0 to 10, yeah. So functional receiver is between 5 and 15. Okay. That's functional average depth of target. Gabe Davis' average depth of target was probably one of the highest in the league last year. Wasn't it the highest in the league? When you're looking at what he did last year, 48 receptions for 800 yards. That's it is what it is. I just don't think I don't think you let 800 yards of offense, which means you're looking at 14 yards of offense for Gabe Davis for the season.
Okay, well let's make it not so much of a no-brainer. Let's say he's got 600 yards.
Mm-hmm. So you're still looking at a 1,000-yard receiver.
Yeah, I think with everything else that you have on the field, it's gonna have to be Davis this year. It's gonna have to be Davis, and it's gonna have to be Kincaid stepping up because, you've seen in practice now they want to get the ball to Cook more underneath. and Knox is going to be more primarily a blocker now. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be the focus of his position. Mm-hmm. So you already know the bracket coverage is going to be on Diggs' side. Teams are going to dare you to try and win the game throwing the ball to Gabe Davis and Kincaid.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking Gabe Davis had a 50-50 reception percentage, so like 51%, like that. So he had 48 catches last year. So to put him at your number, you're looking at somewhere around 80 or so catches for the season. So if he has 80 catches for the season, I just have a hard time letting that out of the office. I have a hard time letting him walk out of the building with that kind of production.
So with that kind of production, what I'm saying is, back to the original point, in my mind, that plus his accomplishments to this point, coming in as a fourth rounder, taking over the number two spot, and I mean, granted, the team really hasn't put much in position to compete with him for that spot, mm-hmm. but his first year in that position, he looked good in Dayball's offense. His second year in a new scheme, not so great. He was also playing with a high ankle sprain, and they didn't have any other outside receivers, so he couldn't really come out without hurting the team. Now you're going into his second year in this scheme. He's coming in fully healthy. He looks great in camp. I think he's in position now to really step up and be, that 1B to Diggs is 1A.
Yeah, then I'm paying him for it. And I think that's where the fall apart for that article is. If you're producing like that, I don't even need a second round draft pick for you.
But can you afford to pay him though?
That's what I'm saying. That's another thing. You have to figure that out, because at this point in time, you might lose Sherfield. You lose Sherfield. You lose Davison. What are you going to do? Because if we go further into the show, we're going to talk about the receivers a little bit in regards to Andy Isabella. And you have all these one-year guys, and you have $25 million to your deficit in the cap next year. So you got to really be creative. But, who are you willing to pay? Who's willing to work with you?
Right.
Who's willing to play ball with you? So it would not be in your best interest. It would not behoove you to, I guess in a sense, put Gabe Davis in a situation where he can command that kind of money.
Right.
Or you have to get rid of him.
So the trade deadline is October 31st this year. It's right before, or it's right after week 8.
Oh, so yeah. Week 8, that's just shy of halfway.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty much right at the halfway point.
Yeah, because I don't know when their bye is, but you either play 7 or 8 games, or 7 or 8 games by then, right. In a 17-game season. Mm-hmm. If he's producing at that, he's got the size for it. He's got the potential to be the number 2. He has a mind state. He has a mindset.
But if you're another team, would you give up a second round pick for that?
If he's producing like a number 1 receiver, yeah, of course. Because if you have Stephon Diggs, you have Dawson Knox, you have all these guys in the slot, you have guys that are produce that are going to take receptions away from Gabe Davis.
How many yards did Higgins have last year? The only reason I'm asking is because I'm not sure if 600 yards by mid-season is number 1 numbers.
T. Higgins last year had 1,029. Had 74 receptions, 1,029. But see, this number here is what's going to hurt Gabe Davis. He's going to have to bring his reception percentage up drastically.
But for where he is when he gets the ball, that I don't know if that percentage would be high enough.
All right.
So maybe he doesn't get the numbers. I mean,
see that you got to be a functional receiver, and that's that's between a 5 and 15 for me.
I don't think that means he's not a functional receiver. I just think that means 2 things. I think schematically with where they're going, he's going to have to be able to win within that 0 to 10 yard mark.
Exactly. And like I said, that's my functional range between 5 and 15. Yeah. That's where receivers that I like, the possession receivers, work. They work between that 5 to 15. Their average depth to target usually pans out to be about that 5 to 15 range. So if you're looking at a guy that you want to pay number 1 money, you got to definitely have a guy that gets you that work in that functional range for me. in order for me to say, yeah, this guy can get that money. Now, when you see 16.8 for the average depth of target, that tells you they're looking at him in one place, one scenario. And it's not, it's not a comeback. It's not a shallow. It's not a drag. It's not, so right. Those are the things I look for in a receiver that I want to pay big money to. You don't have to be Diggs, but just that kind of, you have to be able to step up and run the Diggs routes when asked, if needed. Because if Diggs goes out,
that's true.
Allen's going to be in a world of hurt.
I think Sherfield is closer to being that fill-in for Diggs than anything else, and he's backing up Diggs at that X receiver spot.
And so if Diggs goes out, that's when you're really going to be able to determine who's going to be the guy that's going to get the money.
Well, I mean,
I don't want him to.
If you let the Bills tell it, is Hardy getting the money right now?
Oh.
He's the second highest paid receiver on his entire team, which. I mean, he's not even penciled in for the slot receiver spot right now.
He's not even.
Khalil Shakir is giving him a run for his money for all the $5.5 million they paying.
Yeah, it's a hurt piece. But I mean, you look at the situation that they dug themselves into with Isabella now.
Yeah,
performing.
They keep praising this. You giving him all the credit, knowing you got to cut him.
Yeah,
you have to.
Right, you have to. Or we'll see. We'll see.
They have shown other things. You're right.
Like I told you last week, I think Shorter might be the guy. I think he might be the guy that people don't see coming.
Getting cut?
I think he might get cut. They try to put him on his practice squad.
They will lose so much respect.
From who? You?
Well, from me, first and foremost. Like, it's already at an all-time low. What? I need to go.
You got more respect to give them so they can lose more?
I have a little bit respect left.
You guys heard that, right? He got that on record.
I have a little bit of respect left.
So all is not
lost.
Why.
Here's why.
Uh-huh.
I still need to see what this offense is going to look like fully formed this year, because last year was a transition year. So I technically cannot count that in its entirety. Same thing to be said for the defense, right? Last year Frazier was still here.
Right.
So technically, on offense and defense this year, it is a brand new year. I have to give them that much leeway. Now, if they are going to blitz, I want to see how they use it. I want to see the type of blitzes they do. I want to see, who they have blitzing and who they're putting in positions to succeed on blitzes and who they aren't. All of that stuff is going to matter to how much respect they get from me.
Wow, this is positivity?
Huh?
Positivity? You giving grace? Wait a minute.
Wait, you giving grace? Ain't nobody saying grace. I need something to throw it.
You giving grace?
Ain't nobody saying nothing about no daggone.
You said
grace.
You have to see what the wow.
No, it's an opportunity to either get me to give them praise or for me to be disappointed again.
If you praise these guys, I might break down on set. I might cry.
It's gonna take a lot. It's gonna take a lot.
I know.
I'm telling you right now, it's gonna take a lot. They are going to have to look like, if they can at least give me Legion of Boom vibes
on defense.
If they can at least give me that. If they can at least give me Legion of Boom vibes. Because that's not even, in my opinion, that's not even Jets level defense right now. That's not even 49ers level defense right now. Like, those defenses are stacked top to bottom.
Yeah.
Right? Legion of Boom was, they had one good pass rusher. They had a great middle linebacker. Actually, they had two pretty good linebackers. And their secondary was just insane.
Yeah.
Right?
That's where the boom came from.
Just give me Legion of Boom vibes, and I think I'll be impressed.
We got a lot of work to do to get Legion of Boom. Honestly, they probably could do it.
I agree.
But people gotta be tolerant and no, I'm not gonna do any more with that. I'm gonna leave that alone for now.
Save yourself.
Because you're gonna take me here. You're gonna take you to that place.
I'll take this whole conversation left. I'll do it. but yeah, I think those are the two scenarios that I'm looking at where they have an opportunity to impress me. They have an opportunity to kind of win me back in a sense. Not that I'm like completely out on them. It's still my team. I'm a root for them to win regardless. But in terms of the level of respect that I have with them, going forward after this season, like they got a lot on the line right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, when we looked at the show after the last game, there's a lot to be desired from what we saw.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot to be desired, and there's a big. Actually, going to be a whole nother topic in this show. There's a reason why, and if you guys don't know what it is yet, you have a little bit of time to try to figure it out. But moving on to one component to your Legion of Boom. Brandon Croce wrote a article on, what is this? I don't even know what this is. Buffalo Lowdown. Oh. Buffalo Lowdown. I'm sorry.
Where did you see that at?
Up here.
Oh.
I was grasping at straws, but and what his title is, AFC East cornerback rooms ranked from worst to best in 2023. Okay. So, Buffalo Down, we know this is going to be slanted just slightly.
Just slightly?
Slightly.
Oof. Wait till y'all hear this.
So, we got out of the 4 teams, New England, they have obviously at number 4 as the last in dominance of cornerback rooms in the AFC East. I mean, for what it's worth, they lost some players, they got some rookies. So, I mean, that shouldn't have been hard to see.
Right.
Miami Dolphins, they're a lot of the same. You got young guys, injured guys, unproven guys, rookies.
I'm shocked they left out Jalen Ramsey. Ramsey's he's not going to be out for that long. He's still a part of the team. He's probably going to play at the very least 3/4 of the season. Why leave him out? That him being in that list instantly puts them.
Yeah, what did he say?
At least 1 or 2
back in week 8.
Huh? Week 8?
Yeah, that's what I heard. Week 8 for Jalen Ramsey.
I thought it was a minor surgery.
No, it could have been, but you have to go in and clean it up later. So they're supposed to just do the whole. Yeah, so you're looking at 8 to 10 weeks.
That makes sense. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so they're saying it's a possibility. So let's see what it says.
Yeah, I get that.
So moving on from there, this is where it gets murky. They have the Jets as the number two ranked cornerback room. Now, wait.
Reed and Gardner are both in the top 5 in terms of PFF ratings at corner.
Yeah,
and Gardner's number 1.
Up there. Gardner's number 1. Michael Carter. Let's see. Let's pull it up. If you're younger than me, you can remember names and such. Hold on one second.
I think Reed was somewhere like 5 or 6, maybe a little bit lower than that. I know he was top 10 for sure.
Let's see. In coverage grades, we're just going to go there. Wait, no, that's not right. Let's go here for 2022. That will help. Okay, so Sauce Gardner, number 1. And then you have...
Oh, he's 12.
DJ Reed, 12. And then who was the third guy I mentioned?
Carter. Michael, he's right there, 37.
37. So right there alone. Now, in contrast, and obviously we're objective, Taron Johnson's our number 1 cornerback at 31. So there has been 2 Jets named before we get to our first slot cornerback. Okay? It would help if we had a number 2 cornerback named by now, wouldn't that? Okay, never mind. I didn't say that. I digress. I
Johnson is our nickel corner. Like, to me, that says more than anything else when our best, I'll say the quote best cornerback on our team ain't even nowhere near this level.
Right. So obviously, the article was written by Buffalo Down, which tells you it's probably going to be slanted. I mean, I couldn't even say that it's close. I mean, I really can't say it's even a close thing right now.
The only thing, and I thought about this after we finished talking about it when we were texting. Mm-hmm. The only thing that may put the Bills in this position where they have the Bills secondary, number 1 overall in the division
it's not even secondary. That's the thing. It's just cornerbacks.
It's just corners?
Just cornerbacks.
No way.
Cornerback rooms.
There's no excuse.
Yeah, Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer would put us over the top. But yeah, this is just cornerbacks.
No excuse.
So it's not even defensive back rooms. Yeah. So I mean that's what threw me. I mean you have a guy coming off an ACL.
A guy we cut is rated higher than Trey White.
Yes. A guy we cut is rated higher than Trey White. Guys we let go are rated higher than Trey White. But the thing is, he's coming off an ACL. He played. What did he play last year? From Thanksgiving on, You don't have a name number 2, so that tells you they're way down on the
we
chart.
know it's going to be Dane Jackson. We know that.
Yeah, it's going to be. I mean, barring injury, it's going to be Dane Jackson. But
he got the Lance.
So, so when you're looking at this this article. To put the Bills, I wish we could talk to Brandon about this and see what he was thinking. I mean, I could read it, but I really want to delve into what he was thinking about when he wrote this article.
You said
if anybody
thinking or
knows
drinking?
Him, huh?
You want to know what he was drinking?
Thinking.
Oh, okay. I mean, it makes more sense that he was drinking when he made this list.
I mean, if Brandon wants to defend this, or if anybody else has an idea, without being just because it's the Bills, be objective and tell us why that you think that it is. Is it scheme based? Is it due to, I don't know what it is. I really can't. I just want to start some dialogue. What could it be that makes the Jets visibly, without even playing a game this year, not as good as the Bills' second cornerbacks? I don't want to say secondary because that opens a whole other can of worms.
Okay, so do you want to compare productivity last year?
You really can't, and that's the thing. Like,
I mean,
yeah, I mean, and I'm not disputing it, in the sense of where you're going with it, because I'm just like you. I just want to know why this was ranked the way it was.
The Jets' defense was rated higher than the Bills last year.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets' best corner had more interceptions than the Bills' best corner.
Mm-hmm. Didn't he have more interceptions than the whole Bills secondary?
I'm pretty sure he did.
Mm-hmm.
He had what, 6 last year?
Yeah, something like that.
How many did he have?
Let's see. INTs. Oh no, he only had 2.
He only had 2. Yeah, but nobody threw at him. He had the lowest catch percentage.
Yeah. So I thought he was. So I digress, and I thought he had more interceptions, but yeah, he batted a lot of stuff down.
Yeah, but how many did Trey have?
Trey White last year?
Yeah.
Just last year?
Yeah. I mean, it's Gardner's second year. We can't go past that.
Yeah.
So he had 1 last year.
1.
Yeah, he had 1 last year.
Yeah, 1 last year.
So still accurate. He had more interceptions than Trey White. He had a lower catch percentage than Trey White had last year.
Well, the reason why I said that was because last year I think we only had like 4 or 5 interceptions last year, didn't we?
Like, ideally, Trey White should have come in and had a better opportunity for a lower catch percentage just based off the fact that he had less passes thrown against him.
Right.
So that didn't happen.
Nah. I'm just thinking, and I'm looking at, I don't remember how many interceptions we had last year, but it wasn't.
In total?
Yeah, it wasn't to my liking. I'm pulling it up now. Interceptions. 3, 4, 5. Oh, no. Poirier had 4. 9, 11, 13. That can't be right. Is that right?
14, 15, 16. So 16 interceptions?
Yeah, 17 interceptions last year? Huh.
Hold on a second. We got to double check that.
Because that adds in, we were talking about just a second, that adds in 3 from Milano.
What?
Let's see. Yeah, do some legwork on that.
Okay, the Bills had 17 interceptions last year.
So I stand corrected.
And the Jets had 12. But nobody, that's tough.
I mean, honestly,
that's tough.
It's not all based on interceptions either, but
here's the other part. Here's the other part too. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I need to see the Jets schedule because I don't think they played all the same teams that Buffalo played. Just because of where the Bills were in their record, I think the Jets being the Jets lower team in terms of schedule. Lower in terms of wins.
Schedule. This is just want to verify the 22. Okay,
yep,
there you
22.
go.
So, Ravens, Browns, let's see.
So basically,
Watson was not good last year, but he didn't even play in that game in week 2.
Outside of the division, they played Dolphins, Hawks, Jaguars, Lions, Vikings, Bears, Broncos,
and
Packers,
the Bills,
Bengals.
Can you pull up the Bills schedule at the same time? I just want to compare. Actually, I can pull it up. Hold on.
I can do it, and I can make it smaller and do a split screen.
Okay.
But even still, you look at you're talking about, and maybe that's why. You know what I'm thinking about? Maybe that is why he put him as number 1. I don't know. I just want to know what the criteria is, because to me, their secondary is way more locked down than what we had last year. And I would love to have a conversation with Brandon and see if that is in fact, you know, is that why you have them listed? Because if it is, I'll take it.
Right. So the Jets didn't play the Rams last year. They didn't play the Titans. Let's see. Everybody else, did they play the Packers? Yep, they played the Packers. They played the Vikings. They played the Lions. So yeah. So. Right. So, okay. So you're talking about a Titans team that, I mean, they lost AJ Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Rams lost their identity pretty much. They got their soul snatched out in 2022.
Yes, they did. They did.
I'm looking at those two games in particular. 31-10 beat down of the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
And the drumming of the Tennessee Titans 41-7. Those are your first 2 games.
Right.
Turnover city for the Bills. Mm-hmm. I'm certain those other 5 interceptions that the Jets are missing from comparison to the Bills are in those 2 games alone.
But, you know, I just pulled up PFF rankings, and their defense, if you just go defense-wise, their overall, they were 85.3 to our 72.1. Their run defense was 74 to our 54.4. Tackling, they weren't a good tackling team, but they were better than us. Pass rush,
better pass
obviously.
Rush, better coverage.
Coverage 89.7 to our 80.1. So I really want to know what the criteria. If anybody knows what could possibly be the criteria, please put it in the comments below.
We're not hating on the person that wrote this article.
No, not at all. I really want to just know what he was thinking when he wrote it. Because I mean, if you look at interceptions, like we saw, we just disproved what we thought. We had more interceptions, but at the same time, I look at PFF, and if you delve any further in any other analytics, I'm sure it would all be the same.
Was he trying out some new brownies or something maybe when he wrote that article? Something, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, defense in totality was not really even close. So I don't know. I mean, you know, we'll have to park on that, and hopefully, you know, somebody that does know, don't flame us. Let us know. This could be something that we definitely can have a dialogue about, because I am interested in learning. Anything else on this one before?
I'm good. Let's roll. Okay. Let's move on.
So, day 1 of fights. This is where we're going to park for a while. They're going to park here. Because after we talked about last game.
That whole section for fights.
Dude.
Okay. All right. Let's go.
Dude, look at. From here to here. Fights. So.
Take a sip of my super loud cup of water here.
You might want to do it. I hope it has some ice cubes in it. Twinkle, twinkle. Oh, there we go. There we go.
You got to keep it cold.
You hear the gulp?
All right, let's go.
Tyrell Dodson is the center of a nasty fight in which he and Mitch Morris went nose to nose. Actually, no, that was the second day of fights for that one. He wanted to fight Spencer Brown the first day. So
why?
So he wants to fight Spencer Brown the first day.
I'm getting there.
He wants to fight Mitch Morris the second day, in which Josh Allen yells at him.
Okay.
And then they think it's calmed down. Next thing you know, Tyrell Dodson's swinging helmets at people.
Okay, let me back up a step.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I'm asking why is because in my mind, the audacity of Tyrell Dodson.
That's where I'm parking at. That's where I'm parking at.
Audacity.
That's where we're going with this
Tyrell Dodson to think that he got any kind of clout, any kind of right at all to come up out of his character at anybody on this team.
You know what? I'm gonna take the 8 Mile route here. You know how in 8 Mile at the end when he went to the competition that he talked about himself?
Uh-huh.
Who am I? I'm a nobody. But who is Tyrell Dodson? He's a nobody. So if he heard me say that, who's this dude? I already said that. I'm a nobody.
But you know what too though? I think his contract, and again going back to my theory of what was discussed in that signing when they signed him and brought him back here. I think somewhere in that conversation, it was intentionally implied, but not directly spoken, that they wanted him to come in here and take over that spot. They wanted someone with experience who's been here in this system, been here in this locker room, who knows the culture and has the potential to be a leader on this team.
He has no potential to be a leader. And I'll tell you why.
Well, especially not after this.
I'll tell you why. He never did. Because I don't know if you remember, 2019, what happened? He got suspended for 6 games. Why? He got arrested for domestic violence.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He has a history.
Of just getting violent.
He has a history. They said this is not the first thing with him and his team. He beat his, I'm not even going to say what he did. You guys can look it up. Okay. Actually, you know what? This was an article written by Matt Perino. So let me just see what it says. I don't want to go any further in it than what is in here already. Tyrell Dodson has been suspended 6 games after accepting a plea deal to avoid a trial after arrest in May of 2019 on 3 charges of domestic violence, disorderly conduct, and damage to property. He accepted a deal by the Scottsdale City Court prosecutors on Wednesday for misdemeanor disorderly conduct, avoiding a domestic violence assault charge. Brandon Bean sounds almost like when they had the investigation on who was the punter.
Matarazza?
Yeah. What did he say? He said he has no charge of domestic violence. Obviously, if he was charged with domestic violence, he may be in a different position team-wise with what we're doing.
He still did it. He just pled down.
It says right here in the article, he pled down to avoid the charge. If he wouldn't have pled down, would he have had a charge for domestic violence?
I mean, he would have. This looks bad. This looks bad on the team.
Exactly.
Really what
2019.
It is. You knew who this was. You brought him back. He got suspended
multiple times.
You basically, you had to play him at that point because he was your backup. He was the best option you had. Mm-hmm. And again, I am not a proponent of, never giving guys a second chance.
Right.
But in this particular case, you brought him back. He had a second chance. The game he played in last year when Edmonds couldn't play, he sucked. He was terrible.
Yeah, he's bad.
Again, disclaimer, sucked and terrible are relative to their peers.
Not to us.
Anybody
that
I'm not going to claim I can go in and do what Tyrell Dodson does, but compared to his peers, it was bad.
Anybody knows my football career? Yeah, I wasn't good. I'm fine with that. But to go further into the article, and I was reading while you were talking, but see, when you say it's relative, I know I sucked. I don't care.
Right.
You can't say anything about me that I don't already know. But what I can tell you about Tyrell Dodson,
you're taking this 8 Mile thing to the fullest.
I know something about you. No, but no, seriously.
6'6" dude starting to sing. I know something about you.
I do the little oompa. I know something.
You look like the Lollipop Guild doing that. Stop, please stop. Oh my God.
Lollipop
what is happening right
and
now? Are you getting this? Keep the video on him. Please.
I hope he did, but no. I was looking for this to see if it was disclosed in the article, but it is. Tyrell Dodson. Let's see. I scroll down. It was on record that he forcefully shoved his girlfriend against the wall.
Where are they getting 6'2", 243 pounds?
Yeah, they maybe he shrunk in the 2 years
to make it seem worse is what it is.
Right,
he's a big guy. Domestic violence against
humongous.
Some poor little lady.
Allegedly slapped a girlfriend after an alleged incident continued after slapping her in the midst of the argument. Evidently, she slapped him first. Whatever. He's 6'2", 243.
Right, you just walk away, dude.
But this is the kick. Brandon Bean, after asked Tyrell, to our understanding through our pre-draft process, has never been in any trouble, and he hasn't been. So you want to give people their fair day in court to prove their innocence. It's hard. You don't want to just, anytime someone gets an accusation, boot them out of the building without due process. Who does that sound like? So it sounds like when we just went through last year, does it not?
With who?
With Ariza. This was the exact same thing he said with Ariza.
Yeah.
They didn't kick him out until they got heated. When they got stiff, that's when they got rid of him.
Yeah.
And he said, I remember him saying due process in court. I remember that quote.
I think in this case compared to the punter case, not even gonna say the dude's name. In this case, it was one person against another.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The charges could easily be pled down. In the instance of the punter,
mm-hmm.
there were several witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
So either it was going to get ugly or it was going to go away fast. And
witness, if he would have waited.
So, and that's the other thing too. The case did end up going away. They found out that it was all false accusations. Right. It wasn't him. Right now, and I guess I'm moving to your side now, and in regards to this conversation, because if the punter wasn't guilty, and it was later proven that he really had nothing to do with it, why'd you get rid of him? You didn't think enough about doing your due diligence to really figure out, whether or not you don't have any access to private investigators. You don't have the funds necessary to put people in position to find that stuff out.
Right.
You have the resources to do it. Right. If you look at what happened with, Kareem Hunt, if you look at what happened with
Tyreek Hill,
with Tyreek Hill, how did they get that information? How did they really figure out what happened? It really. This brings out a little bit more of the, for lack of a better term, incompetence in the front office.
How about this next one? I just highlighted. You want to read that? And this is the same article, 2019. But yeah, read that.
You want me to read it in Bean's voice? I'm just playing. Tyrell did some nice things in camp as a football player. We'll see where we're at in 6 weeks.
So
this is. Yeah. Right when he got suspended.
Yeah.
Last year.
In 2019.
Right. Oh, 2019.
2019.
Okay.
That was his. He was an undrafted free agent in 2019. So this was the year when he entered the league. Right. His first year in the league on our team, this comes out. And that's why I liken it to Ariza, because this wasn't after he had, experience with the organization where they have a formed opinion of the guy.
Right.
This is brand new on my team. You're bringing this crap to my squad. And furthermore, to say he did some nice things in camp, what happened to him? Because I haven't seen him do anything nice on the field since he's been here.
Right. At least Matt Ariza was punting the ball 80 yards in practice.
Yeah. I mean, when you put it in perspective, we're looking at football players. And right. Yes, 100%. If you're a good football player and you did nothing wrong, or if you were accused and then nothing comes of it, you're going to get grace. But an undrafted free agent?
Yeah.
What's going on? What's going on? And 5 years later, we're still defending this crap. I mean, come on now.
It's cheap labor.
It's cheap labor, and it's going to be the demise of the defense. And that's where when I said you teased it earlier, this is the reason why the defense is going to suck. This is the reason why, huh?
This year?
Yeah, this middle linebacker position is because Bernard is hurt, so there's no competition for Dodson, none. Dodson's swinging helmets at people. Dodson's getting yelled at by Bobby Babbage. Dodson's getting yelled at by Josh Allen. And it's all on record. He's getting yelled at. Josh Allen gave it to him.
Do you want to start a Devin White campaign?
I will start a Miles Jack campaign.
Miles Jack?
He just
got signed somewhere.
That's what I'm saying. But he was available. And we looked at it for how much? 1 point something million. They couldn't went and got 1 point something million for this guy?
Wow.
But instead, you're going to give us this guy. You're going to give us Ty Dodson.
1.1 for him?
Why is Balin Spector not getting a fair shake at the middle linebacker spot? Why is AJ Klein not getting a fair shake?
How much more skilled, athletic, the ability to read plays, how much more advanced is he than Tyrell Dodson, to be honest?
Balin Spector is a better cover man. He's better against the run, and he's just as athletic. And he is bigger. So, for me...
But why aren't the Bills giving him that shot?
Why do they still have this guy on the team? Why do they still have Ty Dodson on the team? Why is he here 4 years later after doing absolutely nothing?
Because they trust him and they like him.
They trust and they like him.
I mean, that's all it takes.
No. I'm not. I'm saying, but they trust. And then after the article I just read, we're a character team.
They would say this is so 2 years ago. What are you talking about?
And pull out the little Men in Black thing and pew. That's going to happen?
Pew, pew. Yeah,
I'm not going to forget. I'm not going to forget when you put that garbage on the field that you put on the field last week.
Okay.
In a preseason game.
Okay.
I'm not going to forget.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No, I'm not
I like this conversation.
Yeah, I'm not coming at you. What I'm saying,
right?
I'm not going to forget this nonsense.
Okay.
And for them to tell me we're a character, we're this, we're that, and then you have this on the team.
But if I'm the Bills, I'm going to say to you, okay, well, you want us to do the same thing you're unwilling to do for him right now. You're saying because he made a mistake in 2019, you're not willing to give him a shot now?
He made a mistake. Okay.
What happened with second chances?
Let me pull up an article and show you how many mistakes this man has made.
We're going to litigation on this one.
We're going to case law right because now. I'm not even going to go legal. I'm going to. How many games has this man played? Because every game he's played has been a mistake. Every time this man has seen the field, he has made a mistake. So,
okay,
let's see how many mistakes has he made.
Let's find out.
Let's see.
Oh my gosh.
He played in 16 games last year.
Okay, 16 games last year.
No, I'm lying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He played 8 games last year.
Special teams or actual?
Anytime the man put on a uniform, it's been a mistake.
Okay.
Anytime.
Okay.
So
how do you define that?
I mean, at this point, I'm being subjective. But the point is, what has he done to the point that he deserves a spot on his team in a competition over Spector, Klein, the other linebackers he has?
Based on what they thought of him last year and the position they put him in last year, the logical ascension from where he was last year is an opportunity for the starting spot. He was the backup last year, and the guy he was behind is no longer here. So now the role is open to him just based off of where he was last year. I mean, to a degree, I don't think it's really much simpler than that. And I think, and this might play a part in it too. Sean McDermott wants this defense to hit the ground running, right? For them to bring in a new middle linebacker, even if it was what's his name?
No, or your guy?
Was Dorian?
Oh, Dorian Williams.
Yeah, Dorian Williams. Even if they were to put him in that position as a rookie, and I don't know why they won't do that now. Maybe with all this stuff they may, but even if they were to do that, I don't think in McDermott's mind there is enough of a trust in Dorian Williams or a new guy coming in here and being able to fit in this locker room with the guys and fit what he needs from the defense in terms of experience, knowledge of the defense, being able to make the to make the calls and make the plays and make the adjustments and make the audibles and all that kind of stuff. I think to a degree it really boils down to Tyrell Dodson's knowledge of the defense as to why he's the front runner for the position. I don't think he deserves to be that just based off of his play, but I think when we begin to try and break down what the Bills are doing, the only way that we're going to understand this at all, and we've proven this, the only way that we can understand this at all is if we think about this from a Sean McDermott perspective. He's the guy running the show. He's the guy making all the calls and all the moves, right? So if his mindset is culture and comfort, and when I say comfort, I mean trust with trust amongst the players, trust on a I want to say almost personal level, right? Because they like the family environment and stuff like that. Even though, like I said last week, or I think it was Monday rather, that McDermott has tried to hire people to spy on teammates and stuff like that, right? Excuse me. Even with that, I still think his mentality is trust first. Can I trust your knowledge of the defense? Can I trust your ability to lead the men? Can I trust your ability to think think of the right things to do from play to play.
And it's so flawed. I
get you right. You're right.
Because if you listen to how you said it, to trust to lead the men, this guy has character problems.
Yeah.
So why do you trust him to lead your men? In character, this is no character.
Yeah,
you're swinging helmets at teammates. You're for what? I mean, I need full context, but Mitch Morse.
I think all of it is relative to the perspective of the person making the decisions. And Sean McDermott could easily say, okay, he had a bad moment. He's not a bad guy, but he had a bad moment. The same way that he had a bad moment in 2019.
Yeah, now, McDermott, to that point, McDermott did kind of talk about that. And it's just exactly, repeating what you said. That's why I wanted to say it.
Okay.
McDermott did say he doesn't mind the chippiness. He thinks it's somewhat of a good thing for the team. Yeah.
To be trying to fight guys? Twice?
When asked about it. And
he set himself up good. I'm about it. I'm about it.
I mean, it's one or the other. They're double talking. I don't care which way you go, because at the end of the day, I want to win. I don't need a team full of ex-cons.
Nah.
But what?
I'm going from a different perspective. Listen, keep digging that hole, Sean McDermott. Listen, defend this to the death. Defend this to the death. Listen. Say what you want about anything else. Sean McDermott's stubbornness and sticking to his guns and sticking to his ways is going to be the downfall of him. I want him to keep going.
I forgot who.
Go all in. Push all the chips to the middle of the table, Sean.
I'm sorry, guys.
Please.
I thought I had him at bay, but I don't.
You had what?
I thought I had you at bay, but I don't.
No. Nope. No. The whole overflow about to come through. Come on, keep going.
Well, no, honestly, for me, when it comes to that, you're how can you trust this guy in the field and not get personal fouls? How can you trust him not to go after a bonehead play? How can you do? And this is not a question for you to answer. It's a question for the people that are in power to explain this to me.
Sean is the only one in power.
Exactly. I said the people because
there's nobody else in power. The only person that can change anything right now is Sean.
It's his unit. Right. Literally. The defensive unit is his.
Like when you call, as a head coach, when you call the GM and you say to him, are you all in?
Yeah.
When you ask your GM as a head coach, now technically in the hierarchy of how teams are typically built in the NFL,
opposite.
Head coach is a lower position than a GM. The GM supervises the football operations.
Right. At the worst, they're on the same level.
You got your head coach calling the GM and asking, are you all in?
Because you could be gone.
Right. And that's the mentality. If you're not, I could go get somebody else. Like
probably
that conversation.
Probably made the same call to Frazier before he called Mean. Yeah.
Right. I mean, and I, according to what I've heard, like that conversation turned into an argument.
I believe it.
So they may play like they're all in sync now and all that kind of stuff, but I think to a degree, we've already seen that there's a number of people who disagree with the way that things are being run at One Bills Drive.
Yeah.
Dayball didn't like it. We heard about it last year.
That was public knowledge. Yeah.
Right. A big part of the reason we heard about it last year is because Dayball knew he was on his way out.
Yeah.
He probably talked to Joe Shane, and Joe Shane was like, "Don't worry, I got you.
I'm out of here too.
I'm already hearing from the Giants.
You get the team. I'm coming. Don't worry about it.
Right. We out of here. Yeah. So let them say what they want. It's going to be easier for you to leave out the door. Yeah. Right. Yep. The wide receivers coach that ended up going to Jacksonville. Yep. Chad Hall.
How do you? That's telling too. You leave a number one of the top wide receiver rooms.
Right.
To go. You had Steph Diggs. Your bread was buttered.
Yep.
But you go to Jacksonville, which they got Zay Jones. They got a couple other guys.
Calvin Ridley's there this year, so their wide receiver room is going to be nice.
Yeah.
He was suspended last year when they traded for him. But
I mean, they got they have some nice pieces, but your bread is buttered.
Yeah.
And I still speculate, and I have no authority. I don't have sources like you to say that Stephon Diggs was pissed about this at some point.
Oh, I know he was.
Okay. So, I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
For what? It's like, for what? If he would have went to be an OC, if he went to college and been a head, whatever, fine. Be blessed. But when you leave for a lateral position at a lesser team, why?
Right.
Why? So, I mean, when it comes to this Dodson thing, if he was a good player, let's try to get him under control. Mm-hmm. But we've seen time and time again, he's a liability. We watched him against the Twos last week. Against the Twos, he's picking wrong gaps. The ball is coming over his head. He's not in coverage. He's in the wrong positions. He's not in a position to put any men, to lead any men to any kind of success. And if this is your green dot next year, your Legion of Boom's not going to happen. Never mind. Moving on to the next fight because I know where you're going.
Listen, all I'm saying is you giving me fuel.
I know.
You feeding me right now. All this stuff, I'm loving it.
And I think the people watching know as well. That's why they're like, here he goes.
Yeah, I'm loving it. Come on, keep feeding me. I'm getting nice and full over here, Sean.
I know Dodson got into it with Morris, Spencer Brown, Deion Dawkins, and Josh Allen got in his face as well.
Wait, say that again?
So basically 3 out of the 5 offensive linemen Dodson's already tried to fight. Deion Dawkins, Mitch Morse, and Spencer Brown. See, Spencer Brown I can see. Because Spencer Brown just had something about Spencer Brown to me just says he talks that. But Mitch Morse.
Think so?
Yeah, I think Spencer Brown has that edge to him. I think Spencer Brown ready for it. He done for whatever, I feel like. The guy took a beer mid-game and poured it and forgot that he was on TV. Remember that? He took the beer from the fan. In mid-game, I'm here for it. I am here for that. But
oh man, that's funny.
Mitch Morse though. Can you see Mitch Morse? His docileness is almost a fault. To me.
I bet you Mitch Morse was trying to break up the fight, and Dodson just turned and went at him.
I think probably.
I could see something like that happen.
But he got in his face because he's a leader. Which okay, Mitch Morse is a leader. I'll give him that. Even though I don't subscribe to him being one of the best offensive linemen on the team. No, I don't. But I do subscribe to him being a leader and a voice because he's been in a winning culture in Kansas City. So for him to be in somebody's face, it wasn't him. I don't think, unless Dodson's really that kind of guy that went seeking him out.
Right.
Because Mitch Morse unless I've seen him a couple times, there's nothing about the guy. He's a quiet guy, like stay to himself. I don't see him starting nothing. Spencer Brown, Deion Dawkins. I can see Deion Dawkins as well. Because Deion Dawkins isn't he like the oldest player on the team? Not age-wise, but seniority-wise or tenure-wise.
Dawkins?
Yeah. Because he was drafted. Dawkins was the year before Allen, wasn't he? No. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He came, so that would have been McDermott's first year. And Jerry Hughes is gone.
Jerry Hughes was actually before Dawkins.
Yeah, he was before McDermott. So, it'd be Trey White and, Trey White, not Milano. Milano.
Yeah, because they're all the same.
Yeah, they all came in 2017.
But they are like right. the
so he's in that senior council.
Veterans, yeah.
So I could see Dawkins, especially with his personality and his, and he's all fun and games what he showed, but I feel like he has that side to him.
Yeah.
So I can see him getting tested. I can see Spencer Brown, but when you say Mitch Morris, when you say somebody like that, I don't see it. Even Josh Allen, because you saw Josh Allen try to fight Jordan Phillips last year.
Steve, you ain't funny.
He wasn't trying to fight. He didn't want to get touched, but they had to look good on camera, so everybody rushed in and stopped it right away. Because Josh don't know how big he is. So I think Josh would have tried to knuckle up with him, and that wouldn't have been smart. So Steph Diggs got into it with Taron Johnson, and he got into it with Saran Neal. He threw the football at Saran Neal.
How did he even get the football?
Well, he caught it. What happened was he ran out, and it's one of those deals like we talked about with Josh Allen. We had that debate about whether Josh Allen should have ever gotten hit. Mm-hmm. Stephon Diggs, I'm on the sideline, pull up. Why are you hitting me? Almost knocking me to the ground. So he took offense to it. And he turned around and fired the ball and I didn't know it was Saran Neal at the time, but I thought it was Kyer Elam, honestly. But, he actually had to be, he turned around, like snatched around, he threw the football, and you saw he was about to run up to the guy, and they held him back. They grabbed him because, as intense as he is, he takes his craft seriously. He's like, you don't hit me here. I'm the star guy. And that's his mind. You don't hit me here.
It seems like there's a lot more of that going on this year where defensive players are just not caring about who they hit.
Right. They're just doing, I'm like, what are you doing? No. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. We're not.
What?
Where are you going with this?
Where do you think I'm going with this?
That's why I said we're not doing this.
No. You show me yours.
Right, you have the floor.
It's a thought. Mm-hmm. I was going to say, I think I like the aggressive nature that we're seeing from the defense. Mm-hmm. I do think it will probably lead to more flags from the team because you can see and this is one of Sean's calling cards on defense is an aggressive defense, right? That's the way I'm used to seeing his defenses play.
Right.
And we're seeing it and hearing about it in practice now. That speaks to the mentality that's being established, which, okay, cool. As long as it doesn't add up to more penalties during the game, I'm all for it.
Right.
But it's going to. Yeah. Because to a larger degree, I don't think the discipline of this team is where it was even 3 years ago.
Right.
Like, that team was a team focused on the goal of making the Super Bowl.
Right.
I think now this team is trying to justify the rankings to a degree. I think there's more of a fight to make people believe that they are still the team that almost beat the Chiefs 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, honestly, that's not where I thought you were going to go. So
where'd you think I was going to go?
Man, I thought you was going to blame it on McDermott because you said.
Well, I essentially did blame it. I did.
The defense this year, I'm like.
Well, I did. I just did it in a different way.
It was a mature way though.
Yeah.
But no, like honestly, I don't know what it is. And I think what was it? It was Matt Perino on Buffalo Bills NYUP, or is it NY Up? I'm not sure how you say it, but he kind of alluded to the fact that Diggs may be in there to get guys to raise their competitive bar. And that's who Diggs is. And that's the Diggs that people in Buffalo especially are not used to, and not the players, the fans who talk about guys that speak out against something or don't toe the company line or don't jump in feet first. In terms of everybody's not kumbaya. Everybody's not going to be sitting here saying, oh man, we're coming together as a team. We're doing it. No, Diggs is going to make you work for it because he wants to work for it. He don't want to be out there with the confetti on the other end again.
Yeah, but I think, and this is the funny part about all this. Diggs is out here trying to light a fire under guys.
Mm-hmm.
Sean McDermott, in a sense, is probably lighting a fire in the guy under the defense this year, right? This defense philosophically has been passive for the last 5 years, 6 years. Philosophically, they've been passive. They play 7 yards off of the receiver. The corners play 7 yards off of the receiver. They give up the underneath stuff, and their mindset is to just get to the play, make the tackle. Everybody to the ball. Right, that's every defense, but I mean philosophically, the Bills are just prevent the big play.
Right,
we're gonna make you go 12 to 15 plays to score your touchdown, as opposed to how the Chiefs used to play when they can score in 1, 2, or 3 plays in a drive. Right, and they're trying to bet that you can't do it in 12 to 15 plays.
Right,
and when you grow up. And this kind of we've kind of had conversations like this in the past, but when you're raised in a certain culture, when you're trained a certain way, like if I go to the military, right, my mentality is team first, right? I'm gonna put my squad first. I'm gonna lay down my life for the soldier next to me, right? And it's an aggressive, tough, warlike mentality, because that's the culture that they breed in us. It's you go hard every day. You give your life for the guy next to you or girl next to you, and you do what you're told. You follow orders, right? Those people come out of that culture and try to integrate themselves into regular society. Oftentimes, there is a transition period because the two cultures are completely different.
Right.
And I think that's what we're seeing now, where this is the transition period from, all right, guys, we're going to make them go 12 to 15 plays, so just back off, let them throw everything underneath, just keep everything in front of you. When the ball gets to the guy, you go make the play. Don't even bother trying to go for the interception. If it comes to you, catch it, obviously, but don't play too aggressive. We're going from that to come on, guys, we got to take the ball away. We got to get in their face. We got to like all this, light a fire. Why is my English so bad? Light a fire under people's arses.
Box sides.
What?
Box sides.
Box sides? Okay. We'll let that slide. But yeah, the transition period is here now, and I think this is what we're seeing. I think you're asking guys to do a complete 180 from how from the culture that they were built up in. You come into the league as a player, and you're with a team like that for 5 years, and then you go play for the Steelers defense. That's an adjustment period. Mm-hmm. So I'm not gonna say that we don't have the guys for that. I just don't think that their cups are empty enough at this point to be able to be filled up with the right stuff right away. I think something like the kind of mentality that McDermott is probably looking for in this defense and Diggs is looking for in the team overall now is something that's probably going to take this year just to build. So where does that leave us?
This is going to be a transition year.
A transition year when we're already $20 million over the cap?
Yep.
Like, in my mind, this is the year where you need to be selling.
When you don't have a number 2 receiver.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. In what world are we going to be able to sign Gabe Davis and not have to cut Mitch Morse, not have to cut all of the veterans on the team? Leonard Floyd can't stay.
No.
Von Miller's going to have to restructure his contract.
Yeah, you know how I feel about that.
Right. He shouldn't have been signed in the first place.
No. And that's not even that. I mean, absolutely right there. But just restructuring a 33-year-old guy, put him on the payroll till he's 41 or whatever it would be.
Let him retire when he's 41 years old. He can be a player coach for the last 3-4 years of his contract.
Bobby Bonilla Day. That's all I'm going to say. Bobby Bonilla Day. But let's.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to depress you.
No, you didn't do anything. You didn't do anything.
I feel like
I
took your joy away.
No, I'm looking at. I'm thinking about the timing, and I'm like, okay. So I had another article, which I thought was completely. How do you text it? BEEESSSSS.
Yeah. B.
For you guys at home who may not know what that means, BS. Greg Roman in the article said, unbeknownst to the general public, Andy Isabella was so dominant in practice after joining the Ravens that it actually cost him his job. No one was putting him in a game with Lamar. The numbers would have been out of this world. They never would have been able to afford Lamar. Andy was a detriment to contract negotiations, said Roman.
That's real?
That's a real deal. You can look this up.
He was so dominant in practice. This is exposing the whole game.
This is so stupid.
You dying over there. They exposed the whole game. Like, think about this for a second. Mm-hmm. Like, the implications of this, because I've been saying, like, they don't give Elam the burn that he's supposed to get because they want his contract numbers to be lower. They don't give Gabe Davis the burn that he's supposed to get because they want his contract numbers to be lower. Like, we are really cruising for a year where the Bills are going to be broke next year, so nobody's getting the ball. Josh, listen. Overthrow the ball to every receiver.
No, just fake a pull hammy or something. Just fake a pull hammy or something. Just get yourself out of here.
Exactly.
Get yourself out of Dodge for a year.
Let Matt Barkley take over. We'll make something. We'll make something up.
God. This is what face when I said that you like
because I can't believe this is really happening. Like, everything that I've suspected is being proven. Like, since we've started this podcast, we have found out so much stuff about what really goes on behind the scenes, and this is it right here. For anybody listening or watching or whatever, we've pontificated for some time now that teams in the NFL, Bills primarily, are guilty, even though it wasn't able to be proven. There's proof now that the Ravens have done it. The Bills have systematically stopped players from getting the numbers that would garner them a larger contract and a higher status in the league. And if you look at the history of the Bills in the 20-year drought, anytime the Bills had a star player who was highly regarded throughout the entire NFL, right? Mm-hmm. Those players never stayed. They just didn't stay. They left. Right. Nate Clements left. Who else? Antoine Winfield left. Mm-hmm. Who else did we have that left? We had a bunch of players we couldn't afford them after that because they wanted the money and the Bills never wanted to pay anybody. Mm-hmm. So how do you stop that from happening? Okay, well, if I want to make a player affordable to me, I'm going to keep his numbers low.
Oh yeah.
So he can't hit his incentives.
For sure.
I'm paying him less. Mm-hmm. When his contract ends and when his rookie contract ends, he has no numbers to come and bring to me to demand a higher contract. He's barely going to get recognition from the rest of the league unless they really know what's going on in Buffalo. And most of the time, most people don't know what the heck is going on in Buffalo, right? Mm-hmm. And so now I'm in a position as the team where I have all the power. Mm-hmm. Where you going to go? Like Milano was like the best thing since sliced bread when he re-signed here because he was actually recognized throughout the league. He had an all-pro season before his contract ended, so he really could have gone anywhere he wanted. I think for him, he felt more like the guy here, and he liked the number that he got, so he didn't mind staying. Right. On top of the fact, and this is probably smart on his part, we had Josh Allen. We were still ascending at that point. Right. So if you look at it like that, it makes sense why he resigned. But my main point is 9 times out of 10 we've seen players like Milano leave. Mm-hmm. Tremaine Edmonds left. Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, do we want to say that Tremaine Edmonds is on the same level as Milano? I think teams might put him close. Yeah. They may not be the same level, but I think most teams in the league will put him close. Yeah. And his contract says it.
Milano, he undersold himself. I mean, he knew what he was doing. There was a reason behind it. For some reason, for whatever reason, he wanted to stay here, and I commend him for it because I'm not taking shots at him at all. You want to stay in Buffalo? I'm not taking a shot at the city or the team or anything like that. But coming off the seasons that he had as being the premier defender on the face, if you will, of this defense, to take a deal that wasn't what you could have gotten, that's interesting to me.
Right.
But yeah, I just wanted to give you that Andy Isabella story because I thought you would think that was kind of interesting.
It was extremely interesting. It really was. I mean, we need to save this. I mean, it's being recorded live. It's forever solidified in history. Yeah. But this is amazing. Like this is validation for me all day long, baby. I'm gonna keep this going for as long as I possibly can. That I was right.
You were right. So, other news.
Damn, it feels good.
Other news in the league. Terron Armstead was carted off the field today in practice. So that's the Dolphins' left tackle. I'm not sure exactly what that was. And Mike Gesicki dislocated a shoulder in practice. So he's going to be Mike Gesicki, the Patriots tight end. So, I mean, from Miami to New England now.
And Armstead got carted off.
I thought he was going to have a focal role in with Mac Jones, but we'll see. We'll see how long it takes for him to come back.
So don't draft Tua in fantasy.
Yeah. And well, if you're going to do that, please do. If you're going to draft Tua, you should still draft Tua.
Why?
Because that was a dumb move to draft Tua beginning, and it's still a dumb move to draft Tua now.
Tua was nice last year. I had Tua on my team.
I did too, but he didn't play.
What?
I didn't play Tua. I had better quarterbacks than him. I had Joe Burrow. I had Josh Allen. I had better quarterbacks than him.
Okay. Fair enough. But for a stretch, Tua was that dude.
No, he was good. I mean, like I said, I picked him up, but I never needed to use him. And of course, if you're going to draft Tua, whatever. You're the fantasy guy. I'm not really a fantasy guy at all. I just play it just for giggles. Yeah. But moving on to the pressers.
What you laughing at over there?
Yeah, we having a fourth wall breakage over here.
What you he-heing about?
I should have let my son come. They'd have been giggling all sorts of that. What you over laughing at?
Speak. I'm asking you a question, sir.
Yo, he's trying. I wish we could turn the camera on him.
Yeah.
Wish we could.
Junie over there cracking up right now. No, I got you on Facebook Live, sir. Sir, You turn around and tell everybody what you laughing at? That's my oldest son.
That's
my gosh.
That's our engineer on the ones and twos over there.
Yeah, he doing his thing over
He's
there.
chefing it. He's cutting them up. Anytime you see the screen cut, that's him. That's his stamp on the whole deal. He's doing this thing. You hear a little giggle.
You better be cutting while you laugh.
Yo, he is turning purple right now.
Yeah, breathe, son, breathe. Breathe.
My man's shirt turning blue. Going to the pressers.
We lost our camera guy.
He's gone. It's going to be a black screen from here on out. It's not even our fault.
It's stuck on the cut button. It's going to keep cutting back and forth the whole rest
Post
of the
Podium podcast. It's over.
Put the thumbnail back up. We'll just talk from behind the curtain.
The Sean McDermott presser, it really didn't say a lot. I mean, he did, but he didn't. And it's not that he avoided questions. It was just they didn't ask questions really. And plus, I thought I was the only one losing my hearing, but I looked at the comments on the YouTube screen. Everybody's like, Pagula, please buy boom mics. Buy mics. We hear the media ask the question because nobody knew what they were saying.
Yeah, that's tough.
I don't have good hearing, so I thought it was just me, so I didn't say jack. But now it's strength in numbers, so I feel good about this thing. I feel good about this thing.
Now I have friends with me.
Now I have friends that can't hear as well. So
my opinion matters now.
He's answering stuff. I don't know.
Okay. They do need to do that.
They really do. Von Miller's still on a PUP, obviously. Damian Harris, which I really thought, and after Latavius Murray last week, Damian Harris better get in the game. He better get in that game fast because at 1.7
with a knee, is he back at practice?
I think they said he's limited now. So, but the thing is,
he ain't playing.
He's league minimum. You are so cuttable, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
Dude, you have to play. If you don't play.
Listen, you don't understand. We never should have signed Damian Harris in the first place. I don't care what camera I got to look in. We never should have signed Damian Harris in the first place.
You didn't like him?
I did not like the signing at all.
I know a couple people did. I don't know enough about him. I know he was hurt a lot. That's what I know.
So here was my objection to it. When they signed him, they said, initially, they said before they signed him, actually, no, I'm sorry. Let me back up. When they signed him, they said we were looking for a bigger back. Okay. Bigger than who?
Yeah.
I think last time I checked, he was 3 pounds heavier. He might have been 10 pounds heavier.
Yeah, he's not that much.
He might have been 10 pounds heavier than James Cook, but.
Well, yeah, you're looking at Zach Moss size right now.
Right. I don't know. Like Damian Harris has never been a bruiser running back. In New England, he was more of a in the way that he was used. He was more of the receiving back than Ramondre Stevenson was.
I thought
Ramondre Stevenson is 6'2", 250 pounds.
Yeah, I thought he was more of the receiving kind of scat kind of back.
100%. That's how he was used in New England. And so when you see how they used him and the Bills bring him in and say, well, we were looking for a bigger back. Yeah, 213. So he's 10 pounds heavier than James Cook, right? So please explain to me how. Not only is he I think James Cook is what 6 foot 203 or something like that, or is he 5'11"?
James Cook 5'10".
He's 5'10".
Yeah.
Okay, so 5'10", 203 versus 5'11", 213.
Yeah.
To me, that's not enough of a difference. 5'11", 190.
Okay.
Yeah, but
they said he's close to 200.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've seen him listed at
even
200.
still, it's like we talked about last week. It's not even the size, it's the mentality. And like you said, he's more the receiving, the scat back kind of guy. In Damian Harris,
right? So you essentially have the same style of running back,
right? Backing
up the same style of running back,
right?
And you want this guy to come in and be a bruiser? Whenever, and when we saw this with the Patriots, whenever he was used in that way, he got injured. Yeah, and Ramondre Stevenson had to come in, and he played all those games.
Now, that's a guy you might want to have in fantasy. I don't care about Ezekiel Elliott.
Well, you can't now because Ezekiel Elliott
I'm taking him.
What?
I'm taking him.
Why?
Just you wait. I'm taking him.
Please do.
I'm taking him. No.
You better not.
Dave Chappelle style.
Feet off my damn couch. I know that much.
But yeah, no. Honestly, I like we talked about last week. I think Ramondre is still gonna be the top dog over there. So, but with the intervention, or I'm sorry, the introduction of Latavius Murray.
Oh yeah, Murray looked great.
He looked great. And this thing about it, at 6'3", 230. You know,
That's the kind of guy we should have signed from the beginning. Yeah, some of the timing of these signings don't make sense at all.
Yeah, I mean, he said in his press conference, Latavius Murray had about a 7-minute presser where he said he likes the fact he doesn't have to be relegated to the third down back. So that tells you he feels like his skill set is more towards receiving and, spelling. Yeah. So this could be a two-headed monster. I mean, he ran a 4.38 at the combine.
I'm telling you right now, the running backs are going to get more catches than this city has seen in a long time.
I mean, when you ran the combine, I'm going to do your number. You ran the combine in 1903 or whatever year. You always call people old, so I say Latavius Murray ran a 4.38 in the combine in 1903. So
that's like a year after you were born?
I knew you were going to come back, so I thought I could do it, see? I knew I could pull it off, and I knew you had to come back for it. But no, like you said, it's up to Josh, though. It is up to Josh because we have the horses to be receiving running backs now. Now, is Josh and Dorsey going to utilize them in that fashion? I don't know. Dorsey may call a lot of flats. If Josh doesn't want to throw it, he's not going to. Now, $258 million, you're not going to tell him he can't do something he don't want to do. Right. Evident by the fact they let him call plays in the preseason game last week. He said, I think they said he called was about 8 to 10 plays. And Dorsey said why he did that was to allow Josh Allen to see a defense in a different perspective. He said, being a quarterback, looking at the defense from north to south or east to west, however you want to look at it, right. It's better to look at it when you're doing a cross section. You can see exactly the depth of the defensive backs and what they do when you call a player, when you run a certain formation, and it's nice to see how much room he has to work with. So, Josh Allen threw back at the media when he was asked about calling plays. Who called plays? Who told you that? But he was, he was joking. But he said, I mean, we're going to say on record. I mean, Matt Barkley was 6 of 6 when I called plays. He said, I mean, he was only 8 of 9 when Dorsey called. So I mean, yeah, he had one drop, but he was perfect with me. So I think I should be calling plays now. Josh Allen.
He's not helping Dorsey at all.
I know.
He's not helping Dorsey at all.
He's not.
Like, just the fact that he put Dorsey in a position that he's in, period, it doesn't help him at all. I would have, my ideal situation would have been Dorsey works his way into that position, I would say another 2 years at least before you start considering that. And in that 2-year period, you have him working with Joe Brady. Mm-hmm. You have him working with what's the other guy's name? The senior offensive assistant.
Shula?
Yeah, Mike Shula. You have him working with those guys, and you give him opportunities like what? Who is it? Is it Tomlin? No, Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel gave one of his assistants an opportunity to do some head coaching in the preseason. Yeah. Yep. That's how you do that. You give him an opportunity in preseason to work on his game, and you gradually bring him into that.
I really like that. That's new.
Yeah,
That's new.
Right. So, but I just the way he's thrown into this, my opinion is the Bills should have been more upfront about their plan with Ken Dorsey.
Yeah.
I think that might have given people more comfort, but I think to a degree that might have exposed the Bills more than they wanted at that point.
I think you have to look at it in a different lens though, because I think Bills fans in general were over the moon about Dorsey because the Bills told him to be.
Right.
Yeah, so like you say, more comfort.
You're exposing something else we talked about before.
Yeah, we were uncomfortable. Yep. People like us weren't, and hopefully some of you guys at home were uncomfortable because he doesn't have a body of work to judge on.
Right.
But for the masses that are Bills fans, oh man, this is continuity. Is this Josh's guy? We're going to be awesome.
Everybody that they've been marketing to, everybody that they've been, pushing all these advertisements to and merchandise and all that kind of stuff, the people that fall in line for training camps and don't go there with an objective mindset to really see what's going on the field in practice like we do, those are the people that are eating this stuff up. Right. Those are the people that are buying the cereal boxes and the bobbleheads and listening to Kiss 98.5 and WGR and all those places that are just spewing out rose-colored petals all over the place when they talk about the Bills. Yep. And nobody is really looking at some of the things that we're looking at. I'm like, the fact alone that we've seen now what we've seen with the Ravens and what they did with Andy Isabella, and how we've said that we've said for the longest, I've said for the longest that this is something that the Bills have been doing with their players for the last, I would say, I think from the Buddy Nix era on, that's something that they were doing, because at that point, they got Mario Williams here. They were paying some players.
That was still Ralph too. Huh? That was still Ralph too.
Oh, right. But again, I mean, somebody had to say something in his ear, like, listen, times are changing. We're going to have to pay somebody. I could see him.
And that's the thing. When I say everybody knew Ralph was cheap, so. Right. I can see, especially in the regime where you said Buddy Nix, even if he didn't, even if he was an opposing force to it, I could see Ralph Wilson having that influence in, take a little off of him, because we want to keep him, but we're not going to give him that number.
Exactly.
Pagula, on the other hand, I don't think Pagula even. Can you take Hermione from me? Because it
is not Hermione.
Dude, please.
For the last time, for the love of God, stop saying this blonde toy is her. You threw it over here?
I mean, I need somebody to. He's laughing again.
People, this is not Hermione. Okay, all the cameras. Junie, what are you laughing at, bro? What are you laughing at? Here, look at this chick. Look at this chick.
Who is that?
Find out who that is. That is not Hermione.
I want to go on record, everybody saying
it's my daughter's toy. She left it over here.
I found it behind over here.
And he just goes right to Hermione. Learn your Harry Potter.
All
dog.
I know. Is it even Harry Potter? What if it's Lord of the Rings?
It's not.
Fine, whatever.
A chick walking around with a gown, glasses, and a magic wand.
So they ain't got no wizards in Lord of the Rings?
They don't look like that. They ain't got no little girls walking around with no magic wands in Lord of the Rings.
That's Hermione.
You think Schmeagol gonna let her walk around with a magic wand?
Schmeagol was that dude, though. Schmeagol was that guy.
My rings are precious. Stop. But you getting out of control now.
Okay, all right. I told you to take the little girl away from me. See, the little girl.
You got us talking about something completely unrelated.
No, I'm sorry. Maybe she had a thought on
We've broken into Harry Potter several times during the show. Lord of the Rings now. Schmeagol impressions.
Dave
Chappelle, you jumping on people's couches.
When you watch this back, you be like, why is he still playing with that little plastic?
Fluidity of this show right now is ridiculous.
It's funny. But I digress.
Okay.
Sean McDermott to the defense. He said the defense was an area of concern. Communication execution needs improvement, which we already talked about. He's fully confident in Dodson, which whatever.
Who said this?
This is McDermott presser. When he was asked about Dodson after the fight, fully confident, which whatever.
Oh my gosh.
He said AJ Klein. He just said AJ, but he leads the communication well. He knows what they want to get done. So AJ Klein, that's why he's the number 2 middle linebacker right now. Well, not Bernard. Bernard's hurt, so he's not going to play. Yeah. Okay, room for interjection.
You let Klein go just to re-sign him
after he went to Baltimore and somewhere else and came back.
Your draft pick. Junie, what is going on? This dude can't hold it today. He can't hold it at all.
He trying so hard. I love lying.
Wait, what are you even laughing about right now? I have no idea. Like, please. Is it the
I think he's laughing because you were lost for words.
I am at a loss for words. How do you let a guy go who barely played on your team to begin with? And then you bring him back because, oh, by the way, 2 teams let him go. They thought he wasn't good enough. So you, as the Bills, think, oh, you know what? Come on back, brother. We got you. But you can at the very least you can hang out on the practice squad if we need you during the season.
Yep.
Because that's the mindset. It's got to be.
It is.
Right.
But
you bring this guy back. He's not even named in the competition for middle linebacker starting spots or any spots really. Nobody was talking about AJ Klein at all.
No.
Right. Now he's your backup behind a backup?
Yep.
Yep. In today's NFL, Tyrell Dodson is probably not even on another NFL team unless he's playing special teams.
Absolutely not.
With his lack of speed, even though he has some decent athletic ability, if he can't do anything in this defense here in Buffalo, who gives some of the more wanting style of players chances, I don't get it. And Junie is still laughing over it.
He is crying right now.
The toy was doing it? The toy was doing it.
She put a spell on
You
him.
ruined the show. I'm talking to my daughter when I get home. Listen, you leave another toy in this place again.
The starters are
Daddy
going to go for a quarter.
Daddy going to have to get the pop out.
It was my fault because I found her in the weeds and I picked her up, and next thing you know, she had me. I don't know.
So it was the toy's magical powers. Is that what
had
you
the
said?
little wand, but she had the Sorcerer's Stone. Wait, is
What
that
is happening right now?
I don't know.
Is
So
happening?
starters are going to go for a quarter and a half, supposedly. That's what McDermott said.
We just jump right back to the conversation.
I mean, what
So, no, I know, I get it. Like, people watching this right now are like, yo, what is happening with this show?
They need
like,
to check for carbon
They
monoxide
talking
in that
about
place.
everything but football, and then they just jump back into football like they've been talking about it. And
We've been here.
we got derailed so many times.
So
AJ Klein. Okay, so
we're done with him. Isabella has been impressive to the point where he'll get more of an opportunity on Saturday. So I guess that means he's going to either be maybe the slot guy, maybe. I'm not saying to start, for a real regular season, but
I gotta be
game
honest.
on Saturday.
I think I do. Like we don't have anybody with that kind of speed on the team. We need to stop kidding ourselves.
Yeah.
We are one of, if not the slowest teams in the league. I think I saw you doing something with your notes. Again, amazing job, by the way. I think you were doing averages of the speed of all the wide receivers that we have, and they came up to what, 4 or 5?
4 or 5, and we were 4 or 5 last year.
Right. So looking at that, I mean, the average speed. What was T. Higgins? T. Higgins ran a 4.4, didn't he?
4.5 something. Hold on a second, I can find it. But make your point. I got it. I'll find it.
So what I'm saying is, relative to other teams in the league, the Bills might be not too far off, but they haven't had a guy with this level of speed since John Brown was here.
Right.
Now the question is, how is Isabella going to fit in? If he ran a 4.5?
4.59.
Yeah, 4.59. Wow.
6'4", 216.
Can you find out what Tyler Boyd was? Tyler Boyd, and then I think Jamar Chase was what, 4.4?
He was a 4.4, 4.42, I think.
Right. So, but my point is this: the Bills as a defense and an offense have not been particularly fast.
4.58.
4.58.
Tyler Boyd, yeah.
Okay. I mean, he's still probably one of the premier slot guys in the league.
6'2", 203. But see, slot, that's different. Slot, that's really predicated on your short shuttles and your 3 cones and stuff like that, because that's that more quicker than fast type of deal.
6'9", that's pretty good.
That's really good. And that's the shiftiness and looseness that gets you open in the slot. So that's why he lives where he lives, and that's why he doesn't play on the outside probably, because
well, he has,
but he hasn't been
when Chase was hurt last year.
Yeah, I mean he can.
Yeah,
but his home should be in that slot.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And if you notice what Isabella did in the game on Saturday, the one notable catch he had. I mean, he had a couple of catches, but the one notable was where he came over, he read the linebacker, shook him, and Hall butted it out of there and got the ball and got massive yardage. So
the only thing I don't want to see, and I think from the slot receiver position, which in this offense I don't think it needs to be as prominent, to be perfectly honest. But not both of your. Well, Hardy ran a what, 4.4, 4.5?
Yeah, he ran a 4.4, 4.48 or something like that.
So almost a 4.5. Yeah. Not really that fast for a guy that's 5'6". No.
And I want to let you guys know, I didn't want to cut you up, but I want to let you guys know he didn't run at the combine. So that was his pro day. So normally your pro day is a better because it's a hand time versus the laser. So if he ran a 4.48 at his pro day, he's not that 4.35 or whatever people thought he was.
Right. So what I'm thinking is Hardy and Isabella are your slot guys. Mm-hmm. It looks bad for Khalil Shakir if that's the case, with all this love that Andy Isabella is getting. maybe I don't know. I just don't see it. If Isabella is making this team, I don't see how Shakir can make this team. I don't even see how Shorter can make this team, because you still have Trent Sherfield, you still have Gabe Davis, Diggs, and then you add in Hardy and Isabella. That's 6. You're gonna keep 7 receivers.
Okay, you said Diggs, Davis,
Hardy,
Sherfield,
Isabella, Sherfield. Okay, so that's 5.
Okay, and I think Shakir's going to 6 one.
So
I think Shakir will be the
Shorter's going where? Practice squad?
Yep.
A guy that's 6'4" and runs a 4.5?
And I've said this on shows past, and that's what
6'4", 230 pounds, by the way.
That's what they're lining up for. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not saying I agree with it, but that's just the way I see it going. And I know how you feel about it, but
it's just,
and not even, to break the funny character. I think that's exactly what we're looking at.
So let me ask you this: what is your suspicion level? Give me a percentage of 0 to 100. Your suspicion level if they keep 7 receivers and Justin Shorter is the last one. And now, here's what I mean. 7, your suspicion level of Gabe Davis being traded. I'm sorry, I should have clarified that.
Oh, Gabe Davis is traded?
If they keep 7 receivers, what's your suspicion level? 0 to 100%.
If they kept 7, I don't think. I don't think they would trade him. I think the only, like I said last week, I think the only way Shorter makes this team is due to special teams, or if he somehow becomes some hybrid big slot guy.
Has he played special teams before?
He said he's doing great in special teams. I don't know if he's a special team in college, but they said he's doing it. They say he might be a special teams maven. So that's going to be his quickest way to the team.
So bad. That's so bad. That's bad for him. Anytime any guy comes here and is great on special teams, people start thinking about Steve Tasker, which means they're not going to get the ball that much. They're not going to. They're going to barely play receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want a 6'4", 230 pound special teams maven.
That's like your boy years ago. The one you personally knew. What was his name?
I knew
Easley.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was similar size, and he made a career out of being a special teams player.
Yeah, but he was kind of pushed into that because of the injuries. He could play,
mm-hmm.
right? But he just kept getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And when they needed him most, because they I think at the time all they had was Johnson.
Stevie, yeah.
Yeah. I think all they had was Stevie at that point.
Yeah, David Nelson was there.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I think Donald Jones had left already, and Easley was supposed to kind of step into that number 2 spot, but he was injured. So once he came back, it was like, all right, well, all we got for you is special teams. Can you hold that down? And he did.
Fine. Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I hate to see guys with that kind of potential,
mm-hmm.
based on his talent alone, right? Because essentially Josh Allen was drafted for talent alone.
Mm-hmm.
He was drafted for his physical ability, his size, his speed, his arm strength. You can't look at his college tape and say that guy's going to come in and be as great as he was.
No.
Right?
Yeah,
so
I think he had 157 yards in his last bowl game.
Right. So in my mind, why can't you think that way about Justin Shorter? You thought that way about Gabe Davis as a 4th round pick. He's your number 2 receiver right now.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it must be something we're not seeing. But we're going to close on the Ken Dorsey presser, I believe. Man,
it's been 2 hours already.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, these things are. It's not even that we're dragging them per se. It's just having fun, especially live. We're just having fun. It's just and
between
I think
his stuff
I
over
did
there
get feedback from people that did say, there is a lot of good to the show, but they like when we go personal, when we go who we really are.
Yeah.
So I think interjecting the laughter, interjecting things about our family, stuff like that, that's something we definitely, we're not going to go to the point where we're going to let you completely in on every aspect of everything. But
so the first boil I've ever had in my life.
And let me say, that will not be the last.
That was the last. Let me clear that up right now. I have no boils on my body whatsoever.
But I think especially with lives and stuff like that, we're trying to cater to a small. I want to cater to a small, intimate setting.
Yeah.
people that love us and want to be here for us, and I think that's the way to do it. I think people would appreciate it. But going back off my soapbox, I think Ken Dorsey, his big takeaway in his presser was that of the offensive line competition when it comes to, as Josh called him, Cybo versus Ryan Bates. For you guys that don't know, Josh Lingo, Cybo was Osiris Torrance. And yeah, they asked him where'd that come from. He's like, I don't know. He just started
Oh my gosh, that's what happens when you let certain people give you nicknames.
Right, nicknames.
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
He said, I don't know where he got that from, but whatever.
Yeah.
So this is what really got me going. One comment, I like to find those little nuances when it came to them asking about the competition. After Ken Dorsey answered, and he did have a better press conference. I will say it was a better one, this one. He said, however things shake out, Ryan Bates is an integral part of the offense going forward, and he's going to be a huge part for a long time. However things shake out. So
he's guaranteed a spot on the team.
Well, we knew that, but however, if you're the guaranteed starter, I don't think he would say that. However things shake out. No, there's no how. If asked about the competition, and he named Ryan Bates, if he didn't say however things shake out, the other or
okay, so
the backup will be a part of this.
So check this out and tell me what you think about this. If you connect this to what Sean McDermott said about the swing tackle spot, both statements together almost guarantee that that's going to be. I like calling him Rick because that's his real name. I don't know where people got Ryan from, but
parents, I don't know.
No, I think when someone asked him about it before, he just said somebody called him Ryan, and so everybody just kept calling him Ryan or something like that, whatever. But
great,
his name is Rick. I think that's his spot because McDermott stated he was looking for a guy to take over that swing tackle spot and own it. Right. As far as I know, the only other guy that can play multiple positions on the team aside from Bates is
Doyle.
Yeah. Right. So, I mean, Doyle's hurt, and he hasn't ever really been.
He's back.
Oh, he's back
now?
now?
He practiced.
Okay. So, but again, I don't think Doyle has ever really been held in high regard on this team.
No, I don't think he had a chance to, honestly.
Right. I agree with that 100%. When he was drafted, I looked at it and I said, well, we got 2 6'8" tackles. Yeah. Man, could we potentially, be looking at I think he was drafted in 6th, 7th round? Doyle was? 7th round.
He was a round after Spencer Brown, so that would be 4th, 5th?
Doyle was?
Yeah, because they doubled up. They went Rousseau, Basham.
How has he not gotten a chance and he's drafted that high?
He got hurt. He did get a chance, but he got hurt.
While playing?
He was supposed to be a swing guy. He was supposed to be the swing tackle, but he tore his ACL.
I would have loved to have given him a shot at left tackle, see what he could do.
Well, yeah, and he even got a shot at guard, so they had him entrenched. I
don't know if I want a 6'8" guard.
He did it well. It's weird, but he did it well, and that's what they said. Yeah, he did it well.
Wow.
So he's going to be on the team, I believe, unless something crazy happens. But this is the next sentence is what got me when it comes to how everything shake out. The next breath, he said Bates is going to get a lot of reps at center, which will be this Saturday. If you're going to be the starting offensive guard, for me, I don't think you're going to move him to center. I think this is Torrance's job. He got the 1s last week. He got the 2s last week. You're trying to ramp him up to speed. He did well against the 1s.
He's a second-round pick.
He's second-round pick and did well against the 2s. He played a half of football.
You look at what they tried to do with Cody Ford. They tried to give him a shot. He just couldn't do it.
He just couldn't grasp it. So I think, this is
Torrance's spot.
I think Torrance is getting his job unless some crazy setback happens.
Okay, so are we calling it here? We're gonna call it Torrance takes the right guard spot. Bates is your swing tackle. I mean, the line is pretty much set at that point.
Yeah, it's set. Yeah,
Connor McGovern is your starting left tackle.
Yep.
He's getting paid like, well, on this team, he's getting paid like a starter.
Yeah. I think from left to right, Dawkins, McGovern, Morris, Torrance, and then Brown, Spencer Brown. I do think Bates is going to be your swing everything, but I think Tommy Doyle is going to be your swing tackle.
Okay.
Just reading the tea leaves, I could be completely wrong, but that's where I am with it.
Well, I will say this. The right side of our line now becomes the more dominant run side.
Yep.
which I like.
Mm-hmm.
Last year with who was the guard that we had here from Tennessee?
Oh, Saffold?
Saffold, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The last year, the left side of our line was the most dominant. Obviously, I am drawing a blank at people's names like crazy right now.
Who are you looking for?
The right tackle?
From last year?
No. Well,
Spencer
Brown. Right. Spencer Brown was hurt last year. But I think both of those guys, Torrance and Brown being back this year, if they can stay healthy, that's a nice, strong right side as far as the run game is concerned. I am a little worried about pass blocking. I know Spencer Brown has showed well early on, and then injuries have kind of, derailed him as of late. But, to a degree, I think those two guys together have an opportunity to really make a strong case for being, the future of the Bills' offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly would have liked to see Bates be the center this year. Yeah. Just because of the contract that he has and how much Mitch Morse is getting paid. But, it is what it is. I'm pretty sure Mitch Morse is going to get cut after this year anyway. You can't keep $10 million on the cap.
He's going to take a pay cut or something.
How?
They could do a Tim Settle. Just say, not restructure, just cut him. You want to stay on the team? This is what we're offering.
Wow.
Yeah,
to Mitch Morse, you think they're going to disrespect him like that?
I mean, either that or cut. If you think he's going to be cut, they could offer it. They could try it. What's the harm in trying?
I think they let him go find another team. Like to from what they've shown, that's their way of showing guys respect. We'll give you an opportunity.
I don't think we'll hear about it though. I don't think we'll hear about it. I think they're going to offer him to take the pay cut, and if he does, you'll hear about it. But if he doesn't, nobody will find out that they even offered it to him.
Yeah, that's probably right.
And in closing, I think what we're looking for this week versus the Steelers, I think we definitely need to look at the offensive line backup. So Ken Dorsey went on record as saying that Quessenberry and Vandermark and Richard Garage did some good things, which Quessenberry, no. Vandermark, no. Garage was all right at left tackle, and Doyle was
I like Quessenberry.
You like Quessenberry?
I like Quessenberry.
Actually, you did say you like Quessenberry. I'm never gonna say I like him.
Why? What did he do to you?
Well, I mean, he just isn't great. He's just not showing well enough to make my team.
Stole your Hermione doll?
You know what? Hermione, yeah. She got to bring some wizard's dust and some sorcerer's stones, all sorts of stuff like to come.
You stole your toys, man.
That's all I got. I feel naked without my little rubber thing.
He threw it over here somewhere. I
don't know on the floor. It's tarnished now.
It's tarnished.
The thriller's gone.
The dust of the rug got to it.
But I tell you, you need to watch out. This is going to be a good, if they run their starters on defense, this is going to be a great show, and they need to put Kyer Elam's against George Pickens.
Yeah, or Deontay Johnson. I would like to see that.
Deontay Johnson, and this is a premier game to do it because George Pickens and Kenny Pickett, they had a couple plays last week where they actually got the touchdown they threw. They threaded the needle between a safety and cornerback, and I mean, it's going to be something that shows you who your number one or number two cornerback should be. At this point in time, you're looking at a cornerback group. You got a CB1 and a CB2A and 2B, which is, I guess, Dane Jackson and Elam. Outside of that, the Steelers don't really have anything that I'm worried about. They have some speed on offense. They have Anthony McFarland from Memphis, the running back. But outside of those guys, I'm not expecting anything to be close at all. It might be a snooze fest.
Okay. I mean, we'll get a quarter and a half.
We'll get a quarter and a half.
My hope is that it's not like the Denver game where they just didn't do good at all for the first three offensive drives, and they went in for the fourth, and they had to prove that they knew what they were doing.
Not happy with that. I remember that, and like I said, I think if you guys in the comments, please start commenting whatever you like. It doesn't matter if it's smart, astute, stupid, whatever. Put it in there, and just tell me who you're watching this week versus Steelers. Like I said, if there's a player, a position that you want us to break down or you want us to talk about, if you want to tell us what you think of anything that you've seen thus far, please do, and don't hesitate.
All right, there you have it. So, yet again, we have come to the end of another episode. Again, we want to thank everybody, all our subscribers, everybody who's been contributing, and everybody who's been showing love. We're going to keep going as much as we can. I actually I brought in the PS5 today, and what we're going to be doing going forward, I want to get into some play review, but because of copyright laws, we can't necessarily do that.
Very interesting.
Huh?
You got to get interesting.
Oh yeah, 100%. We gonna keep it live throughout.
That's what I'm saying. Like copyright, you got to get interesting. There's ways to do this.
Yep.
So you're going to have to sit here and watch us play Madden for a little bit.
No, it ain't watch us play Madden. No, but we are gonna be able to provide visuals for the X's and O's that we want to discuss. You know, especially when we're looking back at what the Bills did right, what the Bills did wrong. We want to be able to show y'all some stuff. We want eye candy on this show. So, you know, we'll have that ready to go for you next week. We will take a look at what the Bills do against the Steelers. We'll, you know, pick out a couple plays. We'll talk about the plays. You know, obviously Madden is what it is. We understand that, but we want to be able to show some things and give you visuals to be able to, you know, use to describe what we're talking about in terms of, you know, what should have happened, what did happen, you know, what could have happened, what, you know, all that kind of stuff. So once again, thank you. And of course,
thank you.
Right. From the house of all truth, no sodium, I have been your co-host Aramis.
And this has been Keyshon.
And this has been the Post Podium Podcast. We thank y'all and we are out.
See ya.